You know what time it is. Time to hang out with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. Hang with Mr. Coop. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. With Mr. Cooper. Get the latest scoop. From Mr. Cooper. From Mr. Cooper. Yeah.
Miss Jeannie Jones, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hey, it's been a long time coming, and you finally made it to the show. I want to say thank you again for...
made it.
Yes. Kitty of the City, like I was telling the audience a while ago, as far as it goes for this show right here, we speak about how people start in their profession, their success, and they give advice on how to actually start in this career. But, Jeannie, we always start from the beginning. What made you start a profession in the radio and television industry?
Well, I will tell you initially, from the age of 4, I started out in theater and dance. So I think my love for attracting a live audience and getting a reception in terms of making sure I was entertaining my audience at all times. I think that initial passion started there. And I think I got bitten by the radio bug in college at the University of Maryland, and It was amazing. When I auditioned there, it was interesting because when people were going to the audition that particular day, I would see people go into the audition, but I wouldn't see them come out because I definitely wanted to ask, what was it like? What did they ask you? So I'll be like uber prepared. So nobody came out. I was like, heck. I go in, and what was really good is that all they did, the audition, was they gave you a word, one word, and you had to articulate about this one word for 60 seconds, whether you knew what it was, or you better act like you did, or, it made them find out if you had the ability to be witty and entertaining off the top of your head, okay? Mm-hmm. And guess what the word is that they gave me?
What was that?
Kumquat. And to this day, I can ask people, do you know what a kumquat is? Do you know what a kumquat is?
No, Jenny, please enlighten me and the world. I think you're the only one that knows what that word means.
Well, it's something that you can, look, believe it or not, it might not sound like it's something that you may eat, but it is. It's actually a fruit. If you go and look it up, or you may see it in like probably more of your Whole Foods or whatever, it's a small fruit. It looks very similar to an orange, but it has more of a bitter taste. But yeah, kumquat, it's a fruit. So of course I didn't know what that was, but I talked about a kumquat. I have it every day. I deal with it. You would have thought I knew what it was. So I knew that was part of my calling when, I aced that audition.
Wow, now that's amazing. But you know what, Kitty, I can't see somebody walking into a restaurant and saying, let me order a steak and can I get a side of kumquat? I can't see that. That's something that you don't hear every day.
Not quite right. Don't sound right.
Yeah, exactly. Who says that? Why don't you just say, can I get an orange? I never heard of that. That's amazing.
Well, you'll never forget it from this point on. You won't.
Oh, you got that right. I made history today already. First, having you on the show, and second, I learned a new word, kumquat. I'm going to use that word on purpose.
Next time you go out on a romantic dinner, ask, say, darling, would you love a kumquat?
You know what? And if I say that,
hopefully she won't smack you.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. Do I want a what? A kumquat? Can we have dinner first? And I would just bust out laughing. I'm not going to lie to you. Man. Now, Jeannie, we will fast forward some because, we see how you actually started. You started off your career with a one word that only you and Webster has ever heard of in your life. Now, we're going to fast forward to the present. Now, you have something out that's actually called Meow Media. Now, how did that help you progress in your career?
Well, what happened with me being very progressive in radio, I've always, I think part of that magic is that I've always cared about artists. I've cared about them. I could always determine who would have a successful career or who might be a one-hit wonder. And my passion for artists, and I love artists, whether, and I appreciate independent artists too. I mean, if I was just hanging out on U Street, right. In D.C., or even if I was in New York and I saw somebody just on the corner doing their thing, I appreciate that. I get down with that. So a lot of people always, they've appreciated that. So that had me start to, frequent a lot of open mics, and one thing led to another where artists would begin to trust me doing PR for them, and then that started into doing some development because I knew, I had a pretty good ear for what a hit record, is or was going to be or had the potential to be. Artists started to just want to consult with me about what direction they should take or what moves to make, so that developed the PR side of Meow Media and me developing artists and doing, events for them and just doing different things that would get their brand or image out there. So that's how that part of my branding started to move.
Wow. Now, with Meow Media, has it, and I know you said as far as it goes for the one-hit wonders, and there's a lot of them out there. I hate to say that, whoever's listening worldwide, but there's a lot of people that actually made it. Now, do you feel that Meow Media can actually help people even outside of the music industry? Could it help people that's in, like, the movie, television?
Exactly. Well, Meow Media, that's one aspect. That's where it, started out. Some of my first clients were, the DMV's old Grammy Award-winning artist Maya, comedian Mike Brooks. They were like my first two clients I really started doing work with out of the DMV. Then my parent company, which is Ready, Set, Impact, go to ReadySetImpact.com to see all that entails. It, specializes in music production, television and film production, and branding. So it's the entire multimedia at this point. We're taking an artist from 0 to 60 in 90 days. Of course, if there's that type of budget attached to it. But, all of that. We, can handle every aspect of an artist's career.
Now, and see, it's funny that you mentioned Maya because, see, she has actually, back in the 90s, early 2000s, she really blew up. She really did.
Absolutely.
And she's done a lot with artists Jay-Z, Brandy, even with herself, she's done a lot. And a lot of people don't realize that there's people working behind the scenes that's actually helping these artists blow up at the same time because, trust me, they're not just jumping on BET with the automatic video.
Exactly.
They're not doing that.
And it's the people, it's your team that actually makes you, catapult to superstardom.
That's
Absolutely.
True. And I got to give you a shout out for that one now, Jeannie, because see, you've actually helped out a lot of people, and you have met a lot of people at the same time. But we will get into that later on also. But I got to give big shout outs to you on this for the things that you actually have done. And you probably know I had one of your clients on the show the other day, Megan Elizabeth. If you're listening, big shout out to you.
Yeah, and Megan Elizabeth, her debut smash single Closer to You, the video is already through the roof. The official release is Sunday, but just like I'm feeling pretty good with that whole leaking situation. It's like, oh my gosh, the work is leaked, but it's exploding. And as an artist and a director and developer, you want that. If the people desire your work, they want to watch, they want to listen. What more can you ask for? Really?
Well, that's true. That's true. Now, Jeannie, I'm not going to ask you to spoil too much, but on June the 1st, can you tell the people what can they expect out of this video when the official release actually drops? What can they expect?
Well, the video, Closer to You, is a production of Ready, Set, Impact Films. I directed it, and the artist, Megan Elizabeth, it's kind of cool. It's like a cross between, I would say, like Adele meets Katy Perry-ish, on a younger side. So it's hip, it's fun, it's sexy, and I think it's something that the guys definitely have something to look at in the video. I'm just going to leave it there in terms of, sexiness and meow status. And the girls are just going to enjoy it because it's definitely some eye candy in there for you two ladies. But it's just fun. It's about, flirting and with that first time you attracted to somebody, you're not sure if it's going to go somewhere, and then by the time you get home, that feeling where I wonder if I should have said something. Will I ever see them again? Everybody knows what that feeling's like if you ever cross somebody and like, that's that good crush feeling. You got butterflies in your stomach. Well, as the storyline goes out, it's really, really cool. I can't give too much away, but it'll be up on YouTube and completely worldwide. Don't be surprised you see a VH1, MTV. I mean, it's going to be explosive all over the world. So, enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. Now, Jeannie, also at the same time, I had Megan Elizabeth to announce this, but I'm going to get you to announce it also. Tell the world that's listening right now, where can they actually go to see this video?
Talking about in terms of this weekend?
This weekend. That's right.
Oh, look, I'm telling you, of course I had to debut it in my ultimate city, my hometown, D.C., DMV, coming out this Sunday, okay, June 1st, going to be at Barcode, 1101 17th Street Northwest. When I tell you there's going to be so much there for you off the top, like I'm giving you exclusive. Why are we, blowing out money? Can't tell you how you get the money, but we blowing out cash. That's just how strong Ready, Set, Impact is coming. Ladies, we got Victoria's Secret kitty swag bags for you, courtesy of Megan Elizabeth. Ciroc shots, Ciroc boys, Ciroc girls, all over the place. It's going to be complete pandemonium. Barcode day party, 4 to 9 p.m. So don't worry, we'll make sure you get home enough to rest, to kind of get to work and look kind of okay, not too hungover. So just come on out. It's just big fun. That's all I can tell you.
Man, make sure, everybody, if you're in the DMV, and I know people that's listening, I have family, I have friends, I have fans that's in the DMV right now. It's only a hop, skip, and a jumping away. Make sure you go there. You're not going to want to miss this at all. And then also, you get to meet Jeannie Jones. She will be there. So make sure. There you go.
Yes.
Make sure you're there. Yes.
Sexy people, big fun. Nope, not at all.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, Jeannie, I'm going to make you have a flashback real quick.
I'm ready.
What was it like on your first day when you did 103 Jams, 93.9, and WAVY-TV 10? Tell me. What was it like?
Okay, my very first time, 103 Jams was that was my first big commercial radio, because I started when I was a tenderoni in college. I started on gospel radio because, just trying to break into commercial radio between the politics and being ready. I was aggressive, a go-getter, okay? I was I'm going to do this. I'm going to do it well, and trust you're going to know when I hit it. So what was funny when I was doing gospel radio, the pastor and people said, that young lady, she sure is good, but she's got a secular voice. And the pastors used to come out to pay their little fees extra early for their airtime. They were like, oh, you got these pastors coming here kind of early, Miss Jeannie. I was like, I know. But they, they were like, we could tell something special about her and something's going to happen. When I got to V103, my initial time on there, I sounded completely crazy, like I was talking through a bullhorn. It was a hot mess, okay? And I will tell you, it didn't take me too long to learn from my program directors and my morning man, Tony Richards at the time, just what consistency with great execution was about and how to connect with the audience. I had great early teachers and mentors in radio. And, at 103 Jams, which is rare, I don't hear of it, I went from overnights to filling in for the morning show. And overnights is okay. Fillers, you try to work your way, but sometimes things don't happen. People don't take you seriously. And when I was there, the program director would go out to different events, and they were like, who is this girl? They used to call me the Jammin' Jeannie. in Hampton Roads. Who is this? And, he was so, again, I was on overnights. He probably, to him, he told me he thought I was just a cute intern running around. He didn't even realize I was on his station from 2 to 6 in the morning.
Really?
And they were like, and you can't. And it happens. To me, it was very real. Exactly. Wasn't real. Because they worried about other, things they got to do during the day, promotions, staff, politics, of dealing with sales. Yeah, it's just the same thing that makes people have gray hair when they're in the business. It's just a lot going on in the business 24/7. And so, I was a little offended. I was like, okay, good. But it mostly, those type of things motivate me. I was like, cool, you don't know who I am now? It's all good. Just watch. And, when they figured it out, they were like, wow, she is making people listen at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was fortunate enough to have a guy named Phil Nelson who was on for like the 10 p.m. to 2 playing the slow jams and the, sexy grooves. So with his name being Nelson, I said, how can I be creative and flip this? I'm Jeannie. I said, how about if I call him Major Nelson? Like the whole I Dream of Jeannie sitcom. So trust and believe. Can you imagine listening at 2 o'clock in the morning? First of all, you got sexy songs playing, right? Then at 2 a.m., you hear a smoke effect on the radio. Radio is theater of the mind, right? So you hear the smoke come out. And Phil Nelson, what I call Major Nelson, he would say, where's my Jeannie? And you hear this swoosh sound. And then, listen, I would say, good morning, master. You think the fellas were not listening? What?
Of course they were.
So that was at 2 in the morning. So I would do that and just come in rocking, banging songs and just having a good time. So everybody who was in the military used to listen. And then sometimes I used to act like I would blink people into animals. I was doing some next level stuff back then. Who would do all of that on the radio? Like for what at 2 in the morning? But my goal then was, I said, I have got to make a dent and a name and something that nobody else is doing and execute it every night, all night, and watch what happens. And sure enough, eventually it led into me doing entertainment news and hard news in the morning and doing my own shows. Yeah.
And you know what? That's crazy though, Jeannie, because if you think about the standard radio station at 2 o'clock in the morning, you have somebody sleep in a chair that's actually playing songs on the
same 20 songs.
Exactly. Yes.
It probably have it on autopilot, so it's just running itself. Exactly.
Yeah, it have like a 30-second promo cut.
I was busy. Exactly. I was busy in there.
You've really done it. And Jeannie, just for the people that's been living under a rock and have never been to YouTube in their life or been in the DMV, I want you to tell some of the people that you have met. Some of the legends of hip-hop that you have interviewed. I've seen them. I've seen majority of your videos.
It's what? It's not too many people that I have not met. I will tell you that, for example, 50 Cent, for example, the reason why he sticks out, the times I've interviewed him and done, I would have like a kiddie lounge session with him where I would invite 93 or 95 women just to have lunch with me and 50. For example, when he was blowing up on the scene from, Dre and Eminem, with, up in the club, it's your birthday. Back then, I was like, okay, they got this, hard stuff. Okay, we know you've been in the streets and you've been shot. We know all this. But do you know, when the first time we met and had an interview, he gave me one of the most thorough financial conversations I'd ever had in my life. And I said to him, you know what's amazing? I said, how come, along with your, hardcore thug image, I can't imagine if some young soldiers saw the interview you and I just had off the mic talking about stock market and how you finance things. So he was brilliant from day one. And I always tell people, it doesn't matter whether you're talking about being on the block or corporate America. If you know numbers, know how to finance and invest, that's what you know. There's no secret why he's successful now or Jay-Z. These guys are already great with numbers. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
A brilliance that needs to be tapped into. I can't imagine if that part of 50 was exposed to, and why can't it be? So those are the questions I've always wanted to know. I get it, from a political side or from the industry side, but these guys have so much more genius in them than people have ever known. So 50 was amazing to me. When you talk about hip-hop, of course, Queen Latifah is incredible. She has evolved from, streets of Jersey to taking over in Hollywood. I mean, Queen Latifah, when she would come to my show, she was the one who would go out on my great escapes with me in radio. And my great escape was, radio stations always deliver lunch, but I said, what can I do, that and would have me connect with the people a little bit more than giving them food. They're used to doing that. So, at the time I asked my program director, I said, I want to step away from the mic. I want to deliver the food personally myself. I did that for years. And my goal was to meet, every business owner, I don't care whether you were a cab driver sitting on a corner or a trash, a receptacle worker, or working for WASA or Pepco, or if you were working, in Bethesda, or you were a doctor. I wanted to meet everybody. I wanted it so that if I was, picking up dog food at Target and somebody came down the aisle and said, hey, Jeannie, we could actually have a genuine dialogue. It wasn't just like, somebody on radio or television you couldn't get to if we were at a traffic light and you blew your horn, be like, that's Jeannie. I'd be like, hey. And it was a genuine feel. So for years, I would step away from the mic on Fridays and deliver lunch to my listeners, and that meant everything to me. And people always ask me, well, how did you connect with so many people? It was things like that. And, of course, concerts and all this that stuff is great, but that's always done. That's got to be done. That's part of billing and sales. But I said, there's got to be more you can do, and I actually care about people. You know what I mean? Right. I care when a little girl doesn't make it home from school. I want to go find out who that mom is and, what can we do? Because a lot of times I think the public forgets that radio, television, these mediums, they depend on them for their ratings. That's how they get paid. That's how, why advertisers want them to listen and why ratings have to be. So the people never clearly understand how much power that they have with these stations. You go out there and let them know what you want to hear, what you like, what you don't like. But now what I do love about the power of the Internet is that you have so many options now. We are already, attention deficit society. So we have the Internet, we have our cell phones, and we can, program our own stuff. So competition is even more critical. And the ability to give the most concise information in the shortest amount of time is the world we live in. If you, it's the reason why radio has contests when they do, why we talk when we do. You notice with television, whether it's national or your local news station, you see clickers on the side or scrolling down the bottom. What's coming up in the next 5 minutes, the next 10 minutes. That's to keep you watching. And it better be something that's, going to attract women between 18 and 34 or 25 and 54, or I'm going to tune out, which we do anyway. We're a fickle society. It's like what I need now is, microwave fix. So all of those things are happening all day, every day with all these competitors. So what is it that you're going to do to hold my attention? And that's the bottom line.
Right.
Or make a better record. Mm-hmm.
That's funny, and it's true. Everything you said is true. But it's funny that you mentioned 50, and it's funny that you mentioned Queen Latifah. I'm going to make this brief statement, but we're going to speak about this later on also. But with 50, and, a lot of people see these videos that come out, and they try to imitate what they see, and they're thinking, okay, I'm going to be a hardcore rapper. I'm going to go on the streets. I'm going to sell. I'm going to make money. But they're not knowing that a lot of people like Lil Wayne, like 50, like Jay-Z, they put their money to the side when they get profit off of their album sales, and they get profit from their videos and concerts. And they put their money to the side, and that's how they're actually getting rich. Children, kids, if you're listening to this show right now, don't think that you will go on these streets and sell drugs and think that you want to walk away and get into a car and drive off and think that you're going to be big shot. Because trust me, I don't care if you're in the DMV, I don't care if you're in my state, North Carolina, or anywhere else, you're going to get caught up. You're definitely going to get caught up. Do your stuff the right way. Be smart. Make sure you get an education. That's the only way you're going to actually succeed in anything you're trying to do.
Absolutely. And keep smart people around you who understand your vision and want you to do things the right way. None of these artists that we're talking about could even be where they are if they didn't have great people around them, from the publicists, the people who do the videos, the people who handle their social media. It is a rolling machine 24/7. Two other artists that I'm very close to that I was very instrumental in breaking in the DMV area. Love him to death.
Okay.
People joke me, my colleagues joke me. They're like, Jeannie, you usually on point. You know stars when you see them, artists who are going to make it. First of all, they laughed at his name. They were like, I mean, Neo, they were like his, first single, Stay With Me. They were like it's R&B, but it's kind of like that when that little pop energy. I knew Neo was going to be a star because of his songwriting ability, one. Okay? He wrote lyrics that made women feel good. So that was first thing. Then he invited me at the time, I don't know if it was Def Jam, it was, intimate viewing session. And once I saw him perform, I said, oh, this guy's a bona fide star. So I got on the radio. I was like, the hell with politics. I was like, listen out for Neo. He's coming, y'all. He's going to be explosive. And sure enough, there you go. And another one who is my heart, man, is Life Jennings. Different, complete soul R&B. With Life, I even had to apologize to him when I met him because his record rep at the time said, Jeannie, this is your kind of guy, sexy songs make you feel good. But shame on me because when I saw his image, I said, so this tough guy and, a little rough, beard and stuff. I said, man, not another rap. I said, if they can't touch Jay-Z, I mean, what are we going to do with another rapper? So shame on me for stereotyping. Bad Jeannie, okay? When he came to the station, I said, oh, my gosh, this is the guy with the single, Must Be Nice. I said, this is Life Jennings? I said, oh, my gosh. But I was confident enough. I admitted that I stereotyped. I told him, I said, I apologize. I said, you're awesome. So from that point on, he appreciated. He invited me to go with him. He had a meet and greet at Howard University. So I went down. I even put his posters up and was helping him. He was like, I've never seen a radio personality, like, come out and do this for me. I mean, he was like, you make me want to, like, take you away and hire you. I said, how much you got? But from there, he invited me to see him in New York perform. And when I went to see him, he wasn't 3 minutes into his set till he had me a tear forming in my eye. It was just him, just an acoustic set with his guitar, and I was like, this dude, not only is he soulful, he has the ability to make you feel. It's one thing to sing a song, but when you can execute it and you feel it, the people feel it. And I knew he was going to hit, a target audience that, when you're going through stuff, when you're in pain and you feel like nobody's there, I said, this dude represents so many people in so many communities. He is going to blow. And sure enough, another, guy, successful in the business. So I talked about him. I got back on radio like, Jeannie must be getting paid under the table. I was like, no, if you're good, I'm going to endorse you. I don't care what anybody says, thinks. I'm going to talk about you. And sure enough,
Incredible. And that's what I'm saying. You've met them. And I'm going to just say this from a literal standpoint. I believe that you have met them all, and you've been on point with majority of them. You really have. And since we're talking about these hip-hop and R&B artists, with Queen Latifah, here's how old I am, Jeannie, and I'm giving this away. Do you know I still have the single tape of Unity and Just Another Day?
You have Queen the Latifah. Physical cassette tape?
Yes, I still have it. Never got rid of it.
Wow.
I still have it. But, these young kids, they know Queen Latifah from Set It Off and L'Oreal commercials, or Maybelline, one of them.
Right,
but, they never
She's
had
cover girl.
the true essence.
Yes, cover girl.
Cover girl. I'm sorry, Queen, I am so sorry. Please don't kill me for that.
Those checks.
Yes, please don't kill me for that one. But, they know her from Cover Girl, and they know her from Set It Off, but they never had the true essence of UNITY, Just Another Day, her real jazz meet hip-hop. So I just wanted to say big shout-outs to all of these people. Now, let me ask you this. How have hip-hop and R&B changed from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s? Do you think it's getting better or worse?
What did you say?
Yes. As far as it goes from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s of hip-hop and R&B, do you feel like the music is getting worse or better?
It's just changed because that's artistic expression. if you're asking me, I'll tell you this. This is how I feel. I feel like the development of artists has gotten worse. Are there songs that could be better? Of course, but there are some songs that in their basic forms, because songs have gotten so basic, just beats and a great hook, you know what I mean? You don't hear as much, live instrumentation. So when certain songs, they breathe differently on the radio when you hear them live because, they're more musical. And I'm praying that we're going back to that. But most artists, because labels are, lost, so they don't invest anymore. If you don't already have your YouTube numbers up and your social media numbers up, they can't invest because, you know what I'm saying? So artist development is not where it used to be. So you're getting artists that, you have these great hit records, that have promotional dollars behind them. After you hear them 50 million times, you're going to start singing it. But when you go and see them live, let alone not being able to catch their breath, they can't perform. They cannot perform, so it becomes a disappointment. So that's my number one pet peeve. And I just don't feel like lyrics have the depth that they used to have. But, again, that goes into development and not paying musicians what they're worth and songwriters and all of the things that give you quality. It goes across the board in anything in life. When you don't invest, you can't get.
That's so true. Great answer, Jeannie. Now, Jeannie, I'm going to bring you up a little bit, and I think a lot of people want to know this. How did you get the opportunity to work on the Russ Parr Morning Show?
Wow. Okay. With Russ, it was interesting because at the time I had just come from Hampton Roads area, Virginia Beach, doing radio and television there, and I got a call to come back home to work on station I listened to, growing up as a little girl and, hearing Donnie Simpson like we all have. And, they were making changes, and I think I was there, I don't know, it was just like a few weeks. And our DMV homeboy comedian, Joe Claire, they had hooked us up, and a guy named Mike Fox, and we were on the air. And at the time, I heard that they were looking at bringing this guy Russ Parr in, and he was in, I believe it was Texas at the time. And I was told that Russ would listen in on our listen line, and see how the three of us were gelling, and if he wanted to bring the person that he was doing radio with, whether he was going to bring her along or whether he was going to try to work with us since we were from the DMV. People knew us, we were young and hip and having fun. And so, at that time, Russ did like what he heard. And when he initially came to Washington Radio, he kept me and Joe Claire for a while. And for me, I know that I've always been, I guess my background too, not only being, a classical ballerina dancer and a track and field runner, I've always been very aggressive and headstrong. And, at that time, Russ, with his comedic timing and things like that, Russ is the type of person that you've got to be able to fit into his mode of programming, which he's genius at. Him making his songs and doing his characters and talking back to himself. He's a creative working force within himself. I'm very progressive, aggressive, headstrong, and I've always had, I wouldn't say issues, but I just know that women, we are as talented and in some cases more talented than we are given opportunity for. Saying that, for a long time, women were just doing, they were sidekicks for the morning guys, or just doing middays. My goal coming in was to make sure that I did every radio shift around the clock to show women and younger women coming into the business, you don't have to be narrowcasted in a particular day part, okay? So I make sure that I just didn't do morning. Yeah, I held and killed middays and held it down for years as number one. I can do afternoons. I can do night. Okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be any particular thing as long as it's good and it's consistent. And so there isn't a shift that I haven't done or held down around the clock. So I'm just very blessed that, I've been given the opportunities to do that consistently in radio programming in different formats.
And you have proven that time and time again. You have. And that actually goes back to what you said earlier, the different things that you have done, Jeannie. Once again, I do commend you for everything you have done. But, ladies and gentlemen, here's one thing I do want to let you know. Jeannie is more than just radio personality. I mean, way more than that. Now, Jeannie, we will get into this. Tell everybody about your career as a voiceover for the WNBA, iPod, Coca-Cola, and more. You have done a lot.
Again,
How was that
just
experience
being able to evolve and work on your brand. I don't care if you're, entrepreneur, you have your own business, whether you're in radio, I would do the same thing when I do television, on Fox, your brand. So what ends up happening, people is one thing that they hear your voice, but they know that you sell, you attract people, and that's all advertisers want. So I was very fortunate to think a producer, voiceover producer, NBC, who was doing work for the WNBA and the Mystics, heard me on the air, and they said, yeah, we've got to have this girl, do our commercials for the Mystics, and that was that great opportunity. And then from there, doing it for different corporations and brands, it just, you begin to get those calls. Once you start and you're good and they like, and the bottom line, you got to get results.
That's true.
They will come. They will definitely come.
All right. Well, Jeannie, let me ask you one more thing, if you don't mind. And a lot of people don't know this about you, but I think quite a few do. Tell everybody about that NAACP award for leadership that you received.
Oh, that was such an honor. I've been so blessed. But I have a major love affair with my city, D.C. They know I love them. Will live and breathe and represent D.C. until I'm no longer breathing. And they've always given me that same love back. That award was very important because, it was for my community service. People, enjoy what I do on radio, television, and as a producer and director of film and music videos. But for me, at the end of the day, it's about what I do to uplift other people that I do all of this work for anyway. So the NAACP award was for, the time I've, committed, whether it's the American Heart Association, giving back to young people, the Boys and Girls Club. If you go to my website, JeannieJones.com, you'll see some of the organizations and places that I do a lot of resource work for and donate time to. So that's what that award was from. So to get that from my peers for community service means everything to me. And they also realized through the Jeannie Jones Mentoring Program and my Grant My Wish Foundation, students every year through life-altering experiences or scholarships, and then annually when I do my Grant My Wish Foundation weekend, for the past 3 years I've teamed up with Starbucks, and I do my 24-hour camp out for kids where I literally sleep at Starbucks. For the past couple of years it's been the one at 13th in Pennsylvania across from the Warner Theater in Washington, D.C., a few blocks away from the White House. I sleep there 24 hours to collect toys. So my thing is, if I can sleep in the window, stay here for 24 hours, from the time you go to work, I make sure I'm there over the weekend. So if you going to the club, you coming back from the club, if you can't bring me a toy within 24 hours, something's wrong. So, I do that. And then on that Sunday or that very next day, that works out, I go and deliver toys, whether it's foster children in the communities that are, less fortunate. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing, because people come down there like, Jeannie, you got to have some promo person down there. She just hyping, talking online or on air. She probably down there till like 10 o'clock, and people will come at 2 in the morning like, she's still down here? She's like, this is real? It's me. I'm there. Yep,
man, D.C.,
every year.
Big shout out. Big shout out to D.C. Big shout out to Jeannie Jones, who's on the air live right now. Big shout out to everything that you're doing. You're doing it up, Jeannie, and please keep on doing what you're doing. Make sure. Now, Jeannie, what is your ultimate goal for your music and television industry? What is your ultimate goal in this industry?
Well, the ultimate goal is to continue to build my brand and execute greatness in all multimedia. the Washington Post, call me open training. Got a whole lot of work to do, but that pretty much exemplifies the level of greatness in executing in these formats, because you have to respect radio for what it is. And just because when we've seen this, just because you do television doesn't mean you can do radio. You may flop, but I've been so blessed to study each medium and excel in it. So I just want to continue to do that, bring great work to the world, continue to develop great artists, and just, for myself, when you see Jeannie Jones, just expect greatness, whether I'm delivering Jeannie's Juice, entertainment news, whether I'm, doing a documentary on a cause that affects the world or is causing pain to figure out, a solution, just whatever it is, just expect that I am working to bring you the best only. And you can always go to ReadySetImpact.com and check out everything that's happening on my business side, and JeannieJones.com for all, your goodies and meows and kitty swag bags and everything that is entertainment.
Well, and make sure, everybody, you check out both of those websites, because trust me, you're going to find something new. You're going to find something that's going to make you keep coming back for more. Now, Jeannie, you're a busy woman. I'm not going to hold you up much longer, but one more thing. What advice would you give any male or female that's trying to star in the music or movie industry?
Wow, that's a huge question. I would say be very specific about what you want to do. You've got to have a plan for it to work. And because normally artists, I don't care whether you're just starting out or you're experienced, we're very creative people and we're good at what we do. But because we're so creative, a lot of times we will spread ourselves too thin. We'll be doing this, and then we're going to do that, and then you may add this. But you've got to be great at one thing first.
You know what time it is? Time to hang out with Mr. Coop. We're Mr. Coop I, we're Mr. Coop I, we're Mr. Coop I. Ladies school. From Mr. Coop I, from Mr. Coop I, from Mr. Coop I. Mr. Coop. We're Mr. Coop I, we're Mr. Coop I, we're Mr. Coop I. Ladies school. From Mr. Coop